Good morning. So my name is Gail Snyder, and I am leading the Dementia Friendly Fort Worth activities for people living at home with dementia. And I want to do just a couple of introductory things before we get started with our presentation. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Tom, you can turn your video back on if you'd like.
Okay, did I not turn it on? Okay. Let's see. I'm not.
There you are.
Am I back?
You're back now.
You're back.
Okay, so I have a few introductory slides that I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to turn it over to Brooke for our presentation today. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm not a whiz at this yet, so bear with me just a second.
I used to be good at this kind of stuff, but not anymore.
Not anymore?
Not anymore.
Well, I'm just learning. Okay, can everybody see that now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is our logo. Whenever we send out announcements about this, I include this, and you'll also see this if you're a Facebook user. And this program is made possible through a grant through the University of North Texas Health Science Center. It's a Monday through Friday program from 10:30 to 11. And there is our Zoom link for the class, as well as my email address if you need to contact me at any time. I also want to remind everyone that this Zoom meeting is being recorded, and that's for the purpose that families and communities can use it in the future once we post it, where people can go get it after the fact. And if you don't wish to be recorded, please keep your video and your sound turned off so that you won't show up in the recording. And today we have Brooke Wood, who's the Regional Memory Care Specialist with Civitas Senior Living, to do a sugar cookie social. And so at this time, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Brooke.
Good morning,
Brooke,
everyone. Okay, awesome. So I think I have said hello to people that were joining as they came. So it's nice to meet all of you. Like Gail said, I am with Civitas Senior Living. So I was kind of thinking we were doing more with actual residents. I'm going to try to tailor it a little bit to the group that we have right now, so that you can use it, you know, with your residents and socialize with them. But I always think it's a great time, you know, whenever you're doing cooking demonstrations or anything like that, that you reminisce with the people that you are with. So that was kind of what I was basing a lot of today off of. I am not a baking whiz, and actually I was thinking about it this morning. I have my little recipe here with me, but I was thinking about it this morning, and I didn't even grow up in a family where we had homemade cookies anytime. My grandmas were both great cooks, but one of them cooked pies and one of them cooked cakes. I don't think I ever had a homemade cookie from either one of them. And my mother was not a cook. So, you know, I tried this recipe out for the first time earlier this week, and it tasted really good. And so I am going to do it again today. So, you know, whether you are at a community or at home, I think that this is a good recipe to use for sugar cookies. I learned something new, that there are recipes that require chilling prior to baking. This one does not, so you can bake and then go into the oven and start cooking. So, you know, if you are at home or in a community, it offers that instant kind of gratification of popping it into the oven and not having to wait. So I know that you probably can't see everything that I have, but I have all of the basics right here in front of me. A cup of butter. We have 4 sticks, baking soda, salt, baking powder, flour, sugar, granulated sugar, egg. We have vanilla extract, and we actually have almond extract too that we're going to be putting into this recipe today. I'm going to attempt to mute my phone whenever I start mixing so that y'all don't have all of the noise that comes along with that. But I did kind of just want to break it down and go through that recipe with you. So I don't know, do any of y'all have any great recipes that y'all like to do? Any like easy ones that are simple?
Well, we do a lot of chocolate chip cookies in our group.
Okay.
Fortunately, it seems like the cookie dough gets eaten before the cookies are actually cooked. So.
Hey, that happens sometimes with me too.
That's always my favorite part. When I was small enough to sit on the counter, my grandpa used to scold my grandmother for letting us eat the cookie dough out of the bowl.
Yep.
I actually had to throw away a log from my house a couple of months ago because that's all I was doing with it. I was just eating it raw. And so I was like, nope, can't keep on doing that. So I just threw it out so I didn't have the temptation. So right now I am dumping in our cup of butter. It is room temperature butter, so it's been sitting out since this morning just so that it softens up. I don't have a stand mixer, but I do have a hand mixer that works really well. So I got a bowl that'll work well with that. So the first thing that we're going to do is dump in our 1 cup of butter into the bowl. And then we are going to add, I thought I memorized this a lot better. I apologize, y'all. We're going to add 1/4 and a cup, 1 cup and a quarter. I said that backwards. 1 cup and a quarter of granulated sugar. So this recipe did call for granulated sugar. I read that sometimes people use different types of sugar when making sugar cookies, but this one said that it helps make it a lot easier and made it taste better. So this one will have the granulated sugar in it. So I have my 1 cup, and then I go to my 1/4 cup. And then I'm just going to start mixing. So like I said, I'm going to mute y'all whenever I mix, but I would like to kind of hear about maybe some things, what kind of, if you work at a community or if you work with residents, maybe what kind of cooking demonstrations y'all do with y'all's residents to help engage them and, see those memories come back from the past. But I'm going to go ahead and mute so that y'all don't hear the mixer, okay?
So while Brooke is muted, I just wanted to remind everyone that there is a poll that we'd like for you to complete that you should see on the bottom of your screen. And if you will also type your name and your zip code in the chat box, especially if your name isn't showing up on the screen so I know who all is here. And Brooke, I also want to let you know that we have individuals who live at home on our call, as well as some individuals who work in home health. So they're caring for people who live at home in the group.
So just to refresh my memories, the chat box, the one with the blue circle with the white kind of a thing in the middle of it?
On my screen, it says chat and it's a little bubble. It's down at the bottom, kind of in the middle.
Okay, maybe I haven't gone down.
All the way at the bottom. It kind of, on my screen, it disappears unless I keep my cursor down there. And then the link for the poll is right beside it, and it looks like bars on how much service you have on your cell phone. And it says polls, and it's right to the left of the chat link. And when you click on it, it opens up on the right side of your screen usually. You see it?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I see the closed chat. I'm just looking how. Okay, do I need to ask me something or?
You can right in that box. You can type your name and your zip code.
Okay.
And then right next to that is the link for the poll. And there's a few questions, and answer it as best as you can. If you have trouble, that's okay. We just want to see if everybody can complete that poll.
Perfect. So I did cream our sugar and our butter together. Now the next step that we're going to do is add 1 egg, and then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and then half a teaspoon of almond extract. You can leave out the almond extract, but it tastes really good with it in. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in. So crack your egg, dump it in. That's one thing that I guess my grandma's taught me really well, is to not get any shells in my eggs. So, or shells in my food. I accidentally got the imitation vanilla extract when I was at the store. I didn't notice it whenever I did that, but it tasted just fine too. So I'll add in my 2 teaspoons of the vanilla extract, and then I'm going to go to my half a teaspoon of almond extract. Now that I'm mastering the sugar cookie, I need to go and master my white chocolate chip macadamia nuts, because those are actually my favorite cookies. I don't know what y'all's favorite cookies are. I'd love to hear it, but now that I'm mastering the sugar cookie, I'm going to move on to that next one. So I'm going to mix this all up together again. So I'm going to mute y'all for just a second while I get the eggs and these flavorings mixed in. But tell me about y'all's favorite cookies. Jane, what's your favorite cookie?
Mine's a digestive with chocolate on the top. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of a digestive biscuit, but it's really good if you dunk it in a cup of tea. It's delicious.
What all's in that cookie?
A lot of sugar. Pretty much. It's kind of hard to explain, but digestive biscuits with chocolate on top. They sell them at H-E-B. I'm not sure you can make. I don't know how to make them. I just buy them. I'm not a good cook or baker, so.
Depending on where some of us live in Fort Worth, we're not very close to H-E-Bs around here. That's it makes me sad. I love H-E-B, but we don't have any around here. Okay, so that was the second step. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention that I do have my oven preheated to 350. I just went ahead and got that ready, and then the pan ready as well. So y'all can do that whenever y'all are starting to get prepared. Now, the next step is to add flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt, and mix until it's combined. So what I realized during the first time whenever I was making these cookies is that my mix looks really good right now. I think it does, at least. But whenever I added all of these items, it took a lot longer for it to mix. Whenever I added the flour, at first it got really clumpy and in like small balls. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to be the end result? Because this is not good. But then after I kept mixing, it mixed to the right consistency and everything. So if that happens with y'all, just keep mixing and it'll get to that right consistency. So what we are going to do is we're going to add in 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. That 1 cup was a little bit hard for me to get into the bag. And so I think I'm going to go with just using the 1/2 cup and then putting in 5 cubes in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. My favorite thing about making cookies that I've learned too is that you can really do it, with anybody. If you're at home, you can do it with your grandkids or your kids, and make it a fun event, and then make it a learning lesson for them as well, so that they don't end up like me and not know how to make cookies their whole life. So we're going to we added in the 2.5 cups of the all-purpose flour. Now we're going to add in baking soda, which we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm just going to my thingy didn't open up all the way, but I'm just going to hover it over the bowl, and then if a little bit gets outside, that's okay. And then I just kind of underestimated since a little bit got outside of my 1/2 teaspoon. And then we are going to add in baking powder, which we're going to add in half a teaspoon of that as well. So let me get my baking powder. And half a teaspoon. All right. And then last but not least is salt. And this has 1/4 teaspoon, so I am just going to like sprinkle a little bit on and eye it. So that'll be good. And then what we're going to do after this, so I'm going to mix this, and then what I'm actually going to do is I have a empty bowl here. I'm going to put probably like 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and then whenever I start to make the cookies and start to ball them up, I'm going to actually roll those in the sugar to make it that nice warm sugar cookie taste as well. So last time I'm going to mute y'all. Ooh, and my mixer got stuck in my drawer. Last time I'm going to mute y'all, but this one does take a little bit longer than before. So let's think. So we've talked about cookies, but just what are some of your favorite desserts in general? I'm really a pie person. I love lemon meringue pie. I've never made it, so that's also, now that I feel like I got the baking kick in me, I'm going to try to, now I'm going to make everything. I'm going to bake everything. I'm going to make everything. So maybe I'll have to try to make a lemon meringue pie. I'm not sure how my meringue will turn out the first time, but that's my favorite.
So while she's mixing, why don't we all go around and introduce ourselves and tell us something interesting about yourself. Maybe what your favorite cookie is. Dawn, you want to start?
Sure. My name is Dawn. I work with Benevolent Hearts Home Care. We do non-medical home care, and my favorite cookie is a chocolate with chocolate and chocolate. It's a chocolate
so you like
dough,
chocolate.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay. Caring.
My name is Stacy. I'm a care coordinator with Benevolent Hearts Home Care. My favorite cookie is a snickerdoodle.
Great. Okay. Jane.
I'm Jane. I work with Civitas Senior Living. And as I said, my favorite is a digestive biscuit. I'm not very good at baking, so I tend to buy my cookies.
Okay. Tom.
I like pretty much any kind of cookie, especially nowadays. I think, Alzheimer's patients tend to have sweet tooths. But my favorite of all time is I worked for Cadbury Schweppes for a long time.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yes, my kids wanted to kill me when I left them because they didn't get free chocolate and all that kind of stuff anymore. But we went to Bourneville and we had Bourneville chocolate, which is different. And so my favorite of all time is a Bourneville chocolate chip cookie. That's very good.
Very nice. Lupe.
Alrighty, so I finished mixing, and kind of what the fun thing about sugar cookies is, if you are doing it at your home or even at a community, is the decorating part. So you can add in the decorating to the cookie while it's dough if you're wanting to do things like sprinkles. If you're wanting to do, if it's Christmas time, you're wanting to do red and green sprinkles, or even 4th of July time and wanting to do red, white, and blue, you can do some of that decorating here. But if that is not the case, then we can do the decorating afterwards. So you can ice them, or again, put even more sprinkles on them, anything like that.
Okay, I've got.
So like I said, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm a care manager with Benevolent Hearts Home Care, and I do like chocolate chip pecan cookies.
Ooh, I don't know that I've ever had any ones with pecans in them, but that sounds really great. So for this, obviously, we'll just want to make sure that hands are nice and clean. I wash my hands prior to all of this, but I just get a ball and then, y'all, my cookie dough didn't end up like it was supposed to because this was very doughy. So I mastered it one time. Maybe I'm not going to be able to master the cookie recipe, but we'll still try it out. So this is very, very doughy.
You can always
but
eat
you're
the
just going to
dough.
go ahead. I can't always eat the dough. That's true. That's very true.
And you could
maybe I'll
always,
try to add some more flour in it really quick.
you could also chill it for a little bit, and it'll help it firm up. If your butter was really soft,
Yeah.
that might be why
This one said it was a non-chill recipe, so it was supposed to, and it worked fine my first time doing it, so we'll see. So I already greased my pan and everything. I'm going to wash my hands really quick because that was a lot different than what I was expecting. I'm sorry, guys. We all make mistakes, I guess. And I guess I wasn't the baker that I thought I was going to be.
The important thing is
Gail
that you were
said
willing to
chilling.
give it a try.
Right, yeah. Gail said chilling, so that could help. Does anybody think that, like, flour, have y'all had, like, a cookie dough recipe that was supposed to be a non-chill? That, what could I have messed up? I put 2.5 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of baking soda. Do y'all have any tips for a failed wannabe baker? Does flour help, or just chilling? Is chilling going to be my best option?
Well, it's never really a failure, right? Because you got sugar in it and maybe some chocolate.
That's true.
You can always eat it.
Yeah,
So.
I could just eat it.
Yeah.
That's true. I can always eat it. Well, let's just see what it does. You know,
Yes,
like I
you can
said,
add more flour.
Okay, I'm going to try that. Just so that y'all know, so that y'all don't think I'm a faker, since I made these earlier this week, I had in my fridge the whole tray that I made, and they look so yummy. And I ate one, and then I left them, and that one that I ate was very good. So it turned out good the first time. I don't want y'all to think I was lying to y'all. They turned out yummy the first time, but the second time, not so much.
The important thing
sugar,
with
so I don't want to add that.
The important thing with any baking demonstration is to have a finished product to show everybody.
That's why I did it. I was like, okay, if I'm going to be a Betty Crocker up here, how do it? And that was my thought process. So, Gail, I mean, I'll just keep on trying to make my cookies. You can tell me whenever, I know that we're close to time, right? But,
we've got a little bit of flexibility, so we'll keep going for a few minutes. And while you're mixing in your flour again, we're going to go ahead with the rest of our introductions so everybody knows who's here today. And I think we are on my screen. We are is it Sari?
Yes.
Am I saying it correctly?
Yes. In Latin it's like, Sarai. But
Sarai.
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I'm from Boston, United States. I'm the activity director here. And yes, I like the chocolate cookies. That's my best for me.
Okay. And the person listed as Caring03. Yes.
That's Katie.
I'm Katie. I am, like with Luke, I'm from Benevolent Hearts Home Care in Texas, and I am a care coordinator. I like chocolate chip and peanut butter.
Okay, I haven't had peanut butter cookies in a long time.
Good.
Okay, Carolyn?
I'm all for snickerdoodles. But I recently got a message from our daughter. She did a chocolate banana bread. So if you get into quick breads, I recommend that one.
Interesting. Okay, Brittany. Brittany, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there you are. So, what's your favorite cookie?
Sorry, guys. I'm Brittany Kyle, Benevolent Hearts Home Care Agency Director, and my favorite cookie is oatmeal raisin.
Oatmeal raisin. I love oatmeal cookies too, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to master the right texture on oatmeal cookies. Sometimes for me, they turn out too cakey.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I don't make them.
That's why you don't make them very often.
Right.
Okay. And we have somebody else on that I don't have a name for. Okay, Dan and Debbie. Can you hear us? Misty?
Hi, Gail. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
So good. I super loving that Brooke is making cookies. She called me when she made the first batch, and she was like, "Hey!" So proud of you, Brooke. Good job.
First batch came out good. Thanks for supporting the hopefully second batch.
No, love it. So my favorite is chocolate chip cookies, but if there are no chocolate chip cookies, I don't know if y'all ever had like it's a no-bake cookie, but it's like oatmeal and peanut butter and chocolate, and those are so good. But those are my lazy cookies. I call those my healthy cookies because they have peanut butter in them.
And oatmeal.
Oatmeal, chocolate, and peanut butter. It's a really good one. It's a no-bake kind. But chocolate chip's always my favorite.
So I have a no-bake chocolate oatmeal cookie that does not use peanut butter.
Oh, that sounds good.
But it has sugar. And when I was growing up, if there was nothing else in the house to make a sweet, my mom always had oatmeal and powdered cocoa, and it takes a little bit of milk and sugar. And so that was our go-to dessert if there was nothing else to make. And
that sounds yummy.
Nobody in my family now likes that cookie. So if I make those, I have to half the batch or else I'll eat the whole batch by myself.
That's awesome. And this quarantine isn't helping the waistline with cookies.
No, it isn't.
Oh, man.
So I think adding some of that flour might have helped out a little bit. I was about to just say, it's going to have to, I guess, be chilled. The no chill is going to have to be chilled. But, oh, man, I just threw my spoon back away. Got to give me a spoon. I think I finally got it. I don't know if I miscounted. I thought I could count to 5 okay, but maybe I couldn't for 2.5 cups with half-cup scoops. But so they recommended putting just a 1-inch ball. You don't have to roll them out or flatten them out, but just roll them into the granulated sugar. So now it's working pretty good. So hopefully they'll still taste good. If it's rolled in sugar, it'll taste all right, right? And it does make a lot of cookies. This recipe makes a lot of cookies. It makes 3 dozen. So I made 2 sheets last time, and then I was very tired of rolling cookie balls. And so I made a cookie pizza where I just flattened it out over the pans and called it a day. And that one still turned out good. So the recipe does say to leave them in there for 11 minutes, 10 to 11 minutes. I found that with my first batch, they weren't done after 11 minutes. It really was closer to 15 minutes that I left my cookies in there. And I think that probably has to do with the type of pan and everything as well. If it's like a darker pan or a lighter pan, but I did have to leave mine in longer than the recipe said. So that's my little tip. But also, like I said, decorating, I actually should have taken them out of my cupboard because I had some from Easter, some of those little Cadbury eggs left over. And I saw one time on Pinterest where people made sugar cookies and then they put 2 or 3 little Cadbury eggs on top of their cookies, and then it made it look like a little Easter basket. So, anything that y'all can find to decorate things with, it doesn't have to be, icing. It can be really anything. It could be, chocolate chips that you put on top or sprinkles, or it can be icing, but you can make things simple too. I know one of our communities, Jane, you might be able to help me remember a little bit better. they recently did a cookie baking with their residents, and I believe they started icing some. I guess maybe it was a little while ago, because I think that those were Valentine's Day cookies, actually. So they started doing, they have the residents draw pink hearts and everything on them as well. So that's always, a good idea as well, to get just a little bit of that artistic ability going, and everything like that as well. So.
Okay, well, while Brooke is rolling out her dough, let's go ahead with the rest of our introductions. I think we have a few more people who haven't introduced themselves and told us what their favorite cookie is.
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip. And what's your name?
I'm Melanie with Benevolent Hearts. I am the director of HR.
Great. And I sent you a message in the chat. If you'll take just a minute to complete the poll at the bottom of your screen. And then Dan and Debbie, are you still with us? So who on the call has made cookies since you've been stuck at home?
What kind of cookies did you make, Gail?
I'm the only one who's been bad. I've made chocolate chip, and my son likes them with mini chocolate chips. And I've made some with chocolate chips and pecans. And my son likes the chocolate chip recipe with M&Ms in them. And so I've made those. I've also made oatmeal cookies. And I think that, and I made a batch of oatmeal cookies with oatmeal and pecans.
Well, Gail, it seems like we need to come visit your house.
Yeah.
There's not any here today. I ate the last of the cookie dough yesterday.
That's yummy. Those sound all really good. I have never had any with pecans in them, though, so I need to try that.
Carolyn, did you have something you wanted to add?
I cheated. I made cookies with cake mix. I can't tell you the recipe without looking, but eggs and I think a little bit more oil. I'd have to get them, but just Google it, and you just take a cake mix and add the ingredients and do like you're doing, put it on the cookie sheet and bake it. So it's the kind of thing you can do with kids, and you don't have the mess of all the measuring. Measuring is good if they're ready for that. But just Google the recipe for cake mix cookies.
Well, I'm so glad that all
yummy.
Of you, I'm so glad that all
guys, we have a pan, though. They roll together, but we have a pan. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven. A pan full of cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and put these ones in the oven. And then 15 minutes later, hopefully, they'll look something like this.
Very good. Brooke, thank you so much for joining us for today's
Thanks for having me and teaching me a little bit more about cookies.
I think we've all learned a little bit about each other, which is one of the good things, and what this is all about is connecting with other people. And I'm going to attempt again to share my screen to give you a little bit of our session tomorrow. So bear with me just 1 minute. And if y'all want to keep chatting while I do this, you're welcome to do that.
Brooke, I wish I was there to taste your cookies.
Hopefully, I appreciate all of the tips that I learned, because now I know that, not every time works out like the first time, right? I guess I had beginner's luck, but hopefully these ones will taste just as good as the ones. If they don't, I'll just eat the ones that were in my fridge then, right?
I think we all
know what it reminds me of?
I think we all have not all have had mess ups with cookie baking or baking in general. So you're joining the party. So good job.
Yes.
You know, I think Carolyn mentioned the cake cookies, which reminded me, my mom did used to make soda cakes. And all you have to do is add a soda to a box of cake mix. And that can be a really fun thing to do, you know, at a community or with residents too, because it just doesn't have very many ingredients. And then we can still, you know, work on mixing and getting that sensory engagement and everything like that as well.
And they asked the parents, and said, well, what do you want us to do? You know, the parents who were none too impressed.
And then, like I said, it makes a ton of cookie doughs. There's still a ton left. So after we get off this call, I might be eating just like a couple of spoonfuls and waiting for those cookies to get out of the oven.
Sugar cookie dough freezes really well. So you could always put some in the freezer. So you're pacing yourself out so you don't eat all the dough at once.
That's a good idea.
So
Thanks,
I've shared with you our slide for tomorrow. Erica Ornelas, the Active Living Director from Meadowbrook Memory Care in Arlington, will be joining us for tomorrow's activity. And I don't have a sneak preview of what that will be, but I will be sending out an email in the morning as well as posting on Facebook. So if you want to know ahead of time what the activity is, feel free to check both of those places. And if you are not receiving our emails directly and you'd like to, feel free to send me an email, and I'll put my email address in the chat box so you can all see that. So it's been great to have all of you with us. I think we're just about out of time, and some of you have other meetings to go to. So we hope to see you again tomorrow at 10:30. And be sure to use this same link for tomorrow's meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, Gail.
Thanks again, Brooke. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Brooke.
Bye.
Bye, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Tell Steve we missed him.
I will.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.